better or nothing from you. Got to be better or nothing will do. We need better or nothing from you. Badly needed and long overdue.
Hello there, we are Badly Needed and Long Overdue, a controversial podcast about Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Nick Raven. It's controversial because it makes sense. Joining me to my virtual left and your right is my co-host, Emily Lewis. How are you doing? I'm watching the cat back
I am
around.
sad, Nick. I don't want this to be our last podcast.
For a while.
Yeah, it's not the final one, but we're making this the end of our season.
Right,
And
end of season 1.
It makes me sad that we're not going to have it for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably once we get through the holidays, get through the holidays and stuff in January-ish. I think it's a good time to come back.
And we'll see. We'll see, because we're going to start like binning episodes. I want to refresh stuff, and I got to find the time.
I know. Well, January gives you like a month and a half now. There's plenty of time. Plenty of time.
So this will be the 20th episode. We've had a lot of really good guests. I want to do more guests in the future.
Absolutely.
And then there's also obviously we have some of the important people who come and check us out in public. As you've noted, people, aren't you that girl from the Badly Needed
3 times.
podcast?
Three of you have seen me out in the wild and have commented. Oh, and real quick, when I was at the watch party on the 8th,
the election night.
Yeah, Joseph Shelton came up and told me that he had gotten several messages from people who said that they actually voted for him specifically because of seeing him on the podcast.
Aww.
I was like, oh, we're making a difference. Look at us. Look at us, Nick.
So all of our, all the episodes are going to stay online, obviously, so you can go check it out, recommend it to others.
Get caught up.
It hasn't been the biggest listenership, and that's, kind of steering that a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're popular among people who know we exist, and then no one knows we exist beyond that.
That's okay. I can take this break to get my put on my PR hat.
Yeah, and start talking to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything's gonna be up. There's no date in that. It's kind of a go by feel, kind of go by ear, because I'm a really busy dude. I am doing stuff all of the time. So
what that means is
tell everyone.
If we hit January and there has been nothing from us about when we're starting back, everybody has to text, email, call him. Call Nick.
Yeah, of course.
And tell him.
My phone number is 719-123-4567. Just send that a text.
I'm sorry. Most of the people that are going to see or hear this already have your phone number.
That's true. So, pick it up and make a call and
tell Nick, say enough is enough.
Since we're talking about elections, we're going to be the people who won have, like Jetson's car, which can fold into a suitcase, mind you, like the entire glass dome and everything.
We were promised this. We were promised this. 2022, almost 2023.
No,
we're still out here driving cars on a street.
I know. Well, so George Jetson was born in 2022, but the flying cars were another 40 years later.
Anyway, I'm not waiting another 40 years. I want the flying car. I'll drive then.
In a suitcase. Or you'll have a scooter. Scooter can fly, just get into a suitcase.
100%. They had them on the Jetsons.
Yeah, right. They didn't. Yes, and they were floating ones.
Uh-huh.
And they had little rings that emanated from below them.
Yes.
So the people who are elected now, they can go to the Capitol and be like, have you heard this podcast? And that's where those goes. Maybe we just need to crowdfund some business cards and just have those just everywhere.
Yes, 100%.
That'll 100%. Do it. So we're going to be talking about Election Day. We just had an election, and the last episode we talked about you need to get voting. You need to go vote.
And a lot of you listened.
A lot of you listened,
awesome.
but also, thankfully, a lot of you who do listen are the impassioned type who are going to go vote anyway. So we have election results. We're going to kind of go down the ballot and see what happened. And yeah. And
and I'm sorry. I just keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. I'm so rude today.
It's cool.
So rude today. This friendly neighborhood podcaster was actually interviewed on election day by someone from Colorado Public Radio.
Yeah.
Because he was iScooter. You know iScooter. Everybody knows iScooter.
You scoot.
So I scootered down to drop off the ballots because I drop off everybody's ballots. They just give them, here, take them and put them in the thing. So I went to drop off ballots.
10.
Yep. Yeah, and I had 1, 2, 3. I had like 5. And so I scooted down there and I drop off ballots, and I'm getting ready to get on my scooter to go to scooter to the bus station so I can get my bus to go to Chinook for the day. And this guy comes up and he's like, "That is the coolest way I've seen anybody arrive, drop off ballots all day. Can I talk to you, please?" And I was like, "Sure." And then had a conversation about the importance of voting.
Who is this with?
Locally. Dan? I don't know. It was Colorado Public Radio. Dan somebody.
Dan last name.
Yeah, Dan. If you're listening, I don't remember your last name. Sorry.
All right. That's fantastic. Well, we're just
I met a lot of people that day.
Yeah. No, I bet. I'm just like, it's Sunday. I'm like catching my breath a little too. Like, my goodness. So election day was Tuesday. There are still races that are not quite decided. The first one we'll hit on here, and we're not going to make a big issue out of every single one because there's far too many.
Yes.
But U.S. House District 3, that's Lauren Boebert versus Adam Frisch. And it is tight.
Still too close to call as of right now.
Still too close to call. What's the delta on there? That is 1,122 votes. Frisch was ahead through the night and like that first day, and then some of the other counties started coming in, and these results have not been updated in a while.
No.
So they're going to have to, they're really clogging some ducts and pipes and stuff like that to figure out.
Yes.
Because that would help Democrats retain control of the House, which is still
the House is still up in the air.
So we'll see how that goes. Proposition 122 was regulate natural medicine. This is stuff like shrooms and stuff like that. Polis went on Bill Maher the other night and basically said, "Oh, well, this is more for like the medicinal study and stuff like that, because obviously we're trendsetters here. But also it decriminalizes growing and use of shrooms, psilocybin, all that fun, and some other stuff. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal,
especially for, obviously, if you happen to be using them recreationally, whatever. But especially for people who are seeking treatment for PTSD, psilocybin is great, and I can't wait to see that more in there. And then we have the badly needed contest. State House District 16, Stephanie Vigil flips a third House District seat here in Colorado Springs. And so it had been safely 2, it had been 17 and 18. And so that's a big heckin' deal.
That is a really big deal. Y'all know how much we here adore Stephanie.
Exactly.
And knowing that we actually are going to be able to send someone up to the Capitol who's not, first and foremost, a lunatic, which we'll talk about in just a second. And second of all, who is an absolutely amazing fucking person.
Yes.
An amazing human being.
She's been on here twice, and as I've mentioned previously before, I did work on her campaign before working at the Indy, and these are obviously my opinions, not theirs. But she's great. She's been keeping it cool because there was a long time there. It was not certain that she had won it, but they were kind of bringing her up and inviting her into things because she's basically there. So congrats, Steph. Good job.
Yay. We love you, Stephanie.
We love you, Steph. Well, tying into that, Proposition 123 Affordable Housing Fund, a statewide fund for building and kind of sloshing funds around to get affordable housing built, passed. Yep. That's great.
And the school lunches one as well. Which one was that one? I can't remember.
That was FF, and we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I'm just going down the list here because they made it a little easier for me. 124, 125, 126 were the 3 alcohol ones. And it looks like none of them passed. Or the 125 is really close to passing. We'll see. But these were basically giving outlets more licenses and stuff to expand their businesses and that. Yeah. And kind of the de facto opposition was, this is going to hurt all the local liquor stores. And if you're from places like Arizona, you might not be as used to. I mean, in Arizona, there are still standalone liquor stores. Yeah. And they've got the Bevmo down there. For, I guess, the classier stuff. If you don't, because in Walmart, you go in there, there's wine and hard liquor and stuff like that. It's really weird.
Yeah. And, I haven't been to Texas in a really long time, but for most of my growing up with Texas, I was, the cities and the towns that I lived in were dry counties. Yeah. And a dry county, for those of you who don't know, is an entire county of a place where you can't buy any alcohol. You can't buy a beer. You can't buy wine. Nothing. You have to leave your county and go to a wet county to get. It was going to the liquor store was an errand.
Oh, I bet.
You had to plan for it.
Like having to buy fireworks.
Yeah, you had to plan for getting beer or literally any kind of alcohol.
Right. And then here in Colorado, we had this was Prohibition era laws where you had to go to a specific store for liquor. You couldn't just go to a grocery store. So that's why. Yeah. It wasn't until just a few years ago that stores were able to apply for
that we got beer
license. Yeah, they had the weak beer. Yeah. Yeah. Like, ugh.
Yeah, the 3-2 beer.
Yeah. Like Coronas. Right? Nasty. But like the weak stuff, not good stuff. So this was like some of this was pushed by a Democrat from Maryland. And I guess he had some financial foothold or something out here. Yeah. But like alcohol delivery didn't pass. Nope. Because there was kind of their liability potentially there. Yeah. By unlicensed, gig economy workers passing that off. And you have to be 21. It's not like buying a burger or something. You can be 5 and order a burger and that's fine. Right. So. I'm going to skip through a couple. FF, of course, fund-free school meal programs. That passed. Yep. That's awesome. There were a couple of weird ones like Amendment D and E, creating new judicial districts and homestead exemptions. And GG, this one passed kind of overwhelmingly. Yes, this is the required tax impact table, which shows how much a new tax will affect people at different bands of income. My argument against this was that it then kind of, in the same way that Tabor does, it kind of boils tax initiatives down to how much it costs. And obviously that's a big part of it. But I think that's also why people shoot it down, because they see, it's going to be this much more a month. They're going to be like, nope, instead of seeing the actual benefits of it. But, it is what it is. Oh, yeah. 121 to reduce the income tax rate overwhelmingly passed because I don't think people understood that this basically gives a bunch of money to the rich.
Well, no, they didn't understand. And it's all they saw was, reduce my income tax.
Yeah, by $60 a month, whatever.
Yeah. And it's okay. That's fine. It's whatever. Honestly, I had to, get some advice on the issues this time around, simply because we wound up being so focused on the candidates that I didn't. I mean, I literally got my ballot and went, oh, I don't know about any of these.
No, and that's why there's some really good voter guides out there, and I'm
Yep.
thankful for that because I went out that's why we get the blue book. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of the blue book. There are states that don't get a blue book explaining
Which
what
is
those
crazy.
things are, and
I
opposition
don't
for
Yeah, I don't understand making it harder for people
to
to
understand
vote.
stuff. I don't get
It's
it.
so dumb. It's so dumb. Well, I understand why, but it's still dumb.
Yeah.
And it didn't work this time.
What do you mean?
Oh, with the reason to make things more difficult for people to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't work.
Statewide offices, Polis won re-election. I remember the first time I met Polis was when he was primarying 4.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like this would be a pretty easy win for him. I think he did better this time around than he did against Stapleton.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. He did better this time because he won with, 58% of the vote?
Yes, 58 versus 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
well, and I would like to say that it's not hard to beat a racist, phobic person,
Trumper.
but as you'll see in just a few minutes, when we get down to it, it's apparently not impossible to lose to an insane, racist, phobic person.
Oh, hell. Well,
So.
well, speaking of not that, Michael Bennett winning against John O'Day.
Yeah,
seemed pretty-
Bennett.
I think Democrats are pretty firmly going to be senators forever. I think
Yeah,
that's just how
I
it's
think-
going to work.
Yeah. I think so.
Doug Lamborn,
Ugh.
District 5, won another term against our boy David Torres.
Yes, but looking at David's numbers, honestly, he did really, really well against Lamborn.
Yeah.
For so many people, you say Colorado and Lamborn is one of the first things that pops into their head.
Right.
And it wasn't a not blowout, but it also wasn't an actual blowout. David did really, really well. And looking back at past numbers, David's done better than a lot of other people have.
Is drift, yeah, because like Freeland was only 37% versus David's 40.
Yep.
I'm trying to go back a little bit further. Freaking. I don't know, make it easier. They don't have like a timeline on here, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ballotpedia.
Boo hit.
But I remember Stephanie Rose in 2018 also did not.
No.
Didn't get in there. Hang on, 2016. Sorry, I'm holding this whole thing up. Stephanie Rose. Oh, so Stephanie Rose almost did 40.
Yeah.
In 2018, Freeland did a little less, and then Torres brought it back up. So
yeah,
it looks like that's kind of just sitting there.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately.
hopefully we see David's name on the ballot again.
Yes, I know he said
Lamborn.
that. I think that was one of the first things he said is like, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Misty Plowright was 30% in 2016, 31%.
Yeah.
So we're making, there's progress being made.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Because we honestly, some of these people ran really exciting campaigns.
Yeah, we're going to get to some of those other ones. Some of the other people we've been talking to as well. The other, along with Polis, Jenna Griswold for Secretary of State, Phil Weiser for Attorney General, Dave Young for Treasurer.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of state senates.
Yeah. On the plus side, though, I'm looking. The first one pops up, and it's a Republican, and then we've got Democrats.
It's like 44 to like 19 or 43 to 20, something like that in the House. It's like firmly Democratic.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm going to the first big one here, Senate District 11. This is Pete Lee's seat. Winning against Dennis Heisey. They redrew the district. So Heisey was the incumbent. And Tony Exum won there.
Yes, he did.
But I think that's like the only Senate seat that we have around here that's competitive at all.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, a lot of Democrats, I don't even know what this one, I don't even know what these are. What are these?
What are you talking
What
about?
is this RTD?
Oh, that's regional transport. That's the bus transit district
Okay.
up in Denver.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is interesting because like when they do public transportation initiatives, like RTDs, like the first thing they mention, and then everyone else has to like send in vouchers to get the information later, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like when we did the free fare zero error campaign in August, that was we had to send it, which is why we didn't have the heads up as early as otherwise I wouldn't have bought a pass that month. But whatever.
Right.
Whatever. All right, now we're getting into the House district races. We already mentioned Stephanie 14. Rob Rogers lost against Rose Pugliese. I believe that's how you pronounce that.
Hold on, let me get down. Yeah.
That's a 22-point spread there. So that's a tough. We talked about that. That was a tough. Yeah. That's a tough, hard R.
Yeah, but again, Rob. I mean, he almost broke 40.
Yeah.
Which is really difficult to do.
Yeah. It was a tough race.
Now, if we can take just a moment to discuss the State House District 15. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
So first, I want to know, apparently 17,624 of you out there voted for an absolute lunatic. You voted for a man whose only reasoning for running for office was because God told him to. And so that he could go exorcise
yes
demons at the state capitol.
Yeah.
17,624 of you looked at that and went, oh yeah, good job, that's a good plan.
It'd actually be a couple more because it's only 98% in.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna stick with these people.
Yeah.
So every single one of you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Now, I'm going to say this, and not many people say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm, years old. I remember in the not too distant past when a person standing up and telling their constituents that they were running for office because God told them to, not only would not have won, but would have been carted off to a padded room somewhere where they could talk about the fact that God talks to them.
There are a lot of people who thank God in there.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they can thank God. That is fine. That is fine. If they want to thank God, that is absolutely fine.
My thing with Scott Bottoms is that he's running. I mean, yes, running because of that, but also he believes in a theocracy and that God should run the government. And it's like, no, that's not how that works, buddy.
No. This man.
How that works.
This man. Yeah, y'all.
But so here's the thing.
What the hell? What the hell?
Here's the thing, and I think also this helped actually contribute to this result is the fact that Scott Bottoms kind of became the talking point of the election of this race, and unfortunately I saw that from both sides. It's like he was Scott Bottoms, 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 Scott Bottoms. It just over and over again, and I think if there was anyone paying attention, you would have to really pay attention to get to the Alvin Sexton part. And I think that really obscured, like, just the absurdity of Scott Bottoms made him more popular. So I think that just builds a kind of mental reference that people didn't pay attention to who they should have actually voted for.
Well, I know they have to. It's not that hard to look at the names on the ballot
and see the R and the D.
But
there's a lot more R's.
If you see a crazy person, just because you've heard their name doesn't mean that you should vote for them.
but the more casual voters are. So it's like, hey, focus on your lane.
No.
Talk
no,
about how you're going to be a better
No.
candidate and not just how absurd your opponent is.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Alvin would have been just wonderful.
And he said he's gonna try again.
I know he
was
is.
on this
He's-
podcast, so
Yes, he's got the baby coming.
yeah. This is good timing.
You know, I just can't though. People, honestly, I mean, there were people on the ballot that, you know, are not. Again, I don't care. It's our podcast. That are not great people.
I know.
But this guy is.
All right, we're done talking about Scott Bottoms. We're done.
Oh, but I have one more thing. This fucking guy.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, good. 17, Regina English wins over Rachel Stovall.
Who is also crazy.
It was thankfully
Not
a
Regina.
14-point swing there.
Yes, not Regina. Regina is fine.
House District 18, Mark Snyder wins handily. He was the incumbent over Shayna Black.
He did.
That was a
I know
9-point swing there.
It was kind of it was touch and go on election night. Things were a little nail bitey.
Yeah. I think
So
that was
it
a little
was-
bit better. I'm trying to see some of these other ones. I think that's about all we have.
Well, and Colton Montgomery, who we didn't actually wind up getting to have on the podcast,
Right.
for House District 21, he did not win.
Right.
The one that won is the incumbent,
Yeah.
but
he was in the
again,
southeast or east.
he
there.
made a really good showing. A really good showing. He's young. He is not straight. He made a really good showing considering.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's another name I would love to see.
Come back.
Yeah, coming back. Yeah, and then let's see.
And then 22
here.
here, Blake Garner. This is actually my district here.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to Kenneth DeGraff, who's replacing Andy Pico because this redistricting and
Yep.
and all that stuff. So it's still a Republican district, but yeah, but Blake was not the winner there.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking at all these districts, and you know the little check mark, and then the little D,
Yeah,
which
and some of these
And
are everywhere.
I can understand. I mean, geez, I went through just a whole big batch before I found an R again. We are slowly but surely taking Colorado as a whole,
Yeah,
and we're making some red places purple,
like here.
and you know some blue places are now solidly blue.
Yeah, and so speaking of purpling, we've got the El Paso County election results here. There were 2 county commissioner votes. We had Ryan Lucas, who was on this show. He lost to Holly Williams, the wife of Wayne Williams, who is a mayoral candidate. So that was a tough one.
That is a whole thing
That
we
was 32% to about 68%.
Yeah,
So that was a tough one. But one that we're making a lot of progress here.
Yes,
John
we
Jarrell,
absolutely
our
are.
boy. We tried to get him on the show. There was like scheduling stuff like that. This is for district. This is like the middle slice of this. This is like the first commissioner seat that will go in time. And
Yep.
I know we're just a few more elections away from it. But
we really are. I think again, if John is on the ballot next election cycle for this,
he could. He gets closer.
yeah, I think he absolutely could.
Yeah, this was one that Ken Schauer ran for a couple years ago. So, Cammie Bremer, and John Jarrell. This was only a 5-point spread. This is about a 6-point spread here.
Yeah,
Not quite.
he did. Actually, John did better numbers wise or percentage wise, I guess, than pretty much everybody except Stephanie, who won hers.
Yeah, I'm trying to think historically how it's gone, but I don't have that information.
No,
there.
I'm gonna say that it's probably historically also been Republican.
Oh yeah. There hasn't been a Democrat elected to the county commissioner in 40 plus years. So
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Because then down here we get let's see, the county sheriff, which is just anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm in Monument, Palmer Lake, and I don't want to be in any of those places.
No, get out of there. You're going to get trapped.
Ballot questions.
Yeah.
300 and 301.
Well, yeah, this is a weird one. Actually, hang on. Before we get into the city stuff here, Lisa Wilkes versus Steve Schleicher for clerk and recorder Bowerman. Wilkes loses 40 to 61, so about and that's a bummer. I know she's trying really hard. I'm sorry, Bowerman's treasurer, he won again.
Yeah.
Against Richard Williams. Assessor Renee Reef against Mark Fletcher.
And
Republican
Fletcher took
wins.
that one.
Foley loses as El Paso County Sheriff to Joe Roybal. That seemed like it was a pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that was definitely that was just a runaway win for Roybal.
Yeah. That he was like a lieutenant under Elder, so that's like pretty much a hand up. And of course it's here, so. All right, so you were talking 300 and 301, the sale of recreational weed, and then the additional taxation on the recreational weed.
Yeah, so apparently Colorado Springs does not want recreational weed, but they do want to tax the recreational weed.
If it passed.
Yeah, so we voted no on rec weed, which, okay, whatever. People just continue to go to Manitou and give them all of their money.
Or Denver or Pueblo, where it's cheaper because there's competition. Yep.
But we voted yes on taxing the recreational weed.
Yes.
Which it's fine. It's fine. I mean, on the
this
plus
city
side,
passed Amendment 64, not like by the largest margin, but like by a margin. And the fact that it's reversed in the time, I think people in the past decade have been like, I don't like the smell. I don't like I'm scared of how much whatever it's going to cause, by having more people on the weeds.
Yes. Yeah. The people on the weeds.
Injecting marijuana, all that stuff. Like, that's really scary. The mayor did his Reefer Madness campaign.
I know.
City council adopted a proclamation to say that, no, it's bad. We shouldn't do it. Blah.
Which, by the way, if you have not watched Reefer Madness, watch it. It is hilarious. It is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. It is insane. It is insane.
I haven't seen it, but I know of it. Yeah.
It's
bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Bad
I said,
news.
All this does is continue to take money from Colorado Springs that could be used for other things and send it away to these other places that are not hard to get to.
And reinforce stereotypes?
Well, it's even more than that. It's just ridiculous.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I know. That was the first thing that was like one of the first things that came. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm a little bummed that like tracking these elections is a pain in the butt.
It is.
Because like you have the Secretary of State, but then you had like El Paso County independent of that. And election night was like waiting for one source. The Secretary of State was usually pretty reliable because they're getting those numbers like wired straight from the counties. But there are still some races that are too close to call, like that Bobert one. We'll see how that goes.
I have a question, and I don't know if we can answer it or not. Hold on before I die.
Don't die. That's a good.
Have we ever voted any of these judges out?
I think so. But I don't know because it's. I saw the results and it's like like almost all of them are retained. Like yes.
They are all retained, and they're all retained by a significant percentage. And that's because most people don't know anything about these judges.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nobody knows anything about these judges. And they're like, well, okay, I guess if I haven't heard their name, then they're fine. We'll keep them.
Yeah. I think that's basically.
Yeah. I mean, the lowest percentage of re-election was, hold on. Marla Prudek, 4th District.
There was not a very good guide for these.
No, she was only, her yes percentage is only 58.2%.
Oh.
And that's the lowest one.
It's interesting. I was reading an article about how in other countries they don't have elections for judges and stuff like that. They're like,
yeah, well,
they're not like here we vote for everything and a lot of things, and over there it's simpler so that voters don't fatigue as much trying to like, what does all of this mean?
I mean, honestly, though, if we're voting for these people, shouldn't we know something about them, about these people?
Right.
I think we need to start that, Nick. We need to get somebody somewhere.
The badly needed judges review website.
Yes. We need to know who these people are. We need to know what they stand for. What
kind of shadowy ceremonies do they participate in? Are they the good ones? Are they the bad ones? I'm not worried
about those. I'm not worried about that. I just want to know, how are they with minorities? How are they with women? How are they with members of the LGBTQIA2S community?
Yeah.
What do they look like for minorities?
Right.
I want that information because I did not vote for any of the judges, yes or no. Mm-hmm. Simply because I did not have the information that I needed
to make a decision.
To make a decision. And I hate leaving bubbles blank.
Right.
I hate it.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point too. Like when races run uncontested, because if you bubble it in, at least they know how many like active voters there are, or at least for one party or the other, or sometimes both. But yeah, it's weird. So that's why it's been a big deal for like John Mickus and that to get the slate clean, but like full, and go from there.
Well, yeah, there should
Elector Johnson as well.
There should never be an uncontested race.
Right.
There should never be
there should always be someone there.
Yeah, somebody always needs to run. We need to have at least 2 people running, because running uncontested does not mean that you're getting the best person for the job. It just means that nobody else stepped up.
It's lame. That's what it is.
It is. It's lame. It's very lame.
All right. Well, those are all the results that we're going to go over. If you voted, thank you for voting. If you haven't voted, vote next time. Like Emily was talking about last episode, you can get registered in Colorado the day of. Go to your polling place and vote. That's a big hecking deal. That's why our participation rate is higher than other states. Mm-hmm. And I think that just do it. We got to do more.
And you can register online. It literally takes 5 minutes. And then they send it to you. They send you a ballot.
It's got official election mail on it.
Yeah.
So that you know what's going on.
You can either mail it back, or when you're out and about, you can drop it into one of the boxes. The boxes are everywhere.
There's always someone right next to where you're at.
Absolutely. Because because I know most people will absolutely vote in the next election in 2024.
Yeah. It's just going to get bigger and bigger from there. You just got to...
But Colorado Springs has an election coming up in April of 2023.
Yep.
That's where we choose our new mayor.
And replace our at-large seats and one more seat. And Stephanie Fortune isn't running again, so that was Richard Scorman's seat.
Yes, it was.
The council filled it with a conservative, despite the fact that everyone else said, no, that's not what we want, because they're jerks, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other
thing. Our possible future Mr. Mayor, who is, we'll have a conversation about him at a later date.
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as voting in your local elections is absolutely the way that you get to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
The voting locally is how you get your voice heard.
Yep.
And if you vote, every single one of these people who just ran for office, every single one of them was out talking to people. They were knocking on doors. They were showing up at events.
Right.
These are places, and these were people that you could literally just walk up to and introduce yourself and ask them questions. And not one of them would have been like, nope, I don't have time. Sorry, goodbye. They're
involved.
We've had people on the podcast that are like, okay, we have to cut it at this time or whatever else. And the next thing you know, we're way over. What are you? Is that me? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
Of course it is.
I can't hear it, but the Zoom said something. But
yeah. But no, we've had people again on the podcast, and we've run over because they want to talk to you. They want people to know what they stand for. And I'm sorry, you're not going to get that at stop showing me her. You're not going to get that on the national level. You're just not.
Right.
There's too many people for them to worry about. So voting in your smaller, your state, your city elections is vital.
Support your local race.
Yes, it's vital to make the changes that you want to see made.
Yep.
So it's
a big deal. Get involved. Get registered.
Yes.
Get voting. We got
register, vote.
April, mayor, get it done.
Exactly. And you can absolutely show up at a polling place on the day of.
Yep.
And register, and they will give you a ballot and send you to a little cubicle, and off you go.
Yep. So get it done.
We make it so easy for people to vote here. So easy.
So easy. All right. Well, speaking of so easy, I think that's the end of our show. Yeah.
Fine.
We got it.
Fine.
We're going to put it in the can.
Oh, no, I don't want it to be over. It makes me sad.
Don't be sad. Don't be sad. It's a nice...
It really does.
Release. We've been working on... Okay, here's the thing. We've been working on this for free for 5 months, and it's been the labor of a lot of effort and a lot of coordination every single weekend. We have not missed a day, except for that time where the episode was done, and I just didn't upload it, and no one told me about it, okay? But it was done. All the work was done, except for just the upload part. But we've been consistently doing this. We've been wanting to shed light on what it's like to live in Colorado Springs, what issues have mattered in Colorado Springs. And there are places we can go. There are people that we'd want to talk to. But again, this is a free venture. And when your audience is the size of a small classroom, it's hard to it's hard, and it's like it's a validation piece as well. And I know that there are some dedicated super fans who are really going to come out and see us, and we're happy to see you, happy to shake hands, hugs, all that fun stuff. But you got to get out of... Speaking to the crowd is not fun for me, right? Preaching to the choir is not... The whole point of this is to start having conversations that didn't exist before, and being able to talk to people about things that we have not been talked to. That's why we're badly needed and long overdue.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. And the break will give us a chance to put some things together that we really want to focus on.
Yeah.
It's just, but again, it makes me a little sad. It's, this is, I look forward to doing these.
Yeah.
And it's not like we really don't see each other or talk to each other except for this.
Right. But and it's not like I'm going to be bored or anything.
Well, you may not be bored. I'm going to be bored. I'm stuck in suburbia.
I'm stuck in... You're...
Middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes. The reason that you see a completely different room here is I am in the process of moving from my apartment downtown, which you all know I love,
Yeah.
to embedded in a
You're going to be like me, but on the other side.
south of Cimarron kind of
Don't dox
neighborhood
yourself.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's
You're going to be in the neighborhood. You're going to have to like take a walk to get to public transit because there's nothing there.
No, there's nothing. And the bus line that I'm on only runs Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So, no. And I mean, it's no.
Well, and Connect here's what Connect COS is out for the public to just, discern and check out and all that stuff. So I will be doing that relatively soon, probably next weekend or so. Because I'm trying not to plan anything for next weekend. I'm trying to. I've been like I work Monday through Friday, and I do stuff in the afternoons Monday through Friday, Saturday, and then Saturdays and Sundays I fill up, and then we're recording this, and it's like I rarely have time to just discharge and rest.
I know.
So
I know you can recharge and rest, and that's fine.
Speaking of discharging and resting, do you want to get us out of here?
In just a second, I absolutely will. As soon as I pull up my script, so I know what I'm talking about.
Pull that script. You showed. There we go. There's that leg. Boop boop boop.
Oh, stop it! So I just closed everything out. Thank you. Stop it! Oh, you silly thing. Okay, just let me have that. Give me that. Give me that. Yes, this is how the sausage gets made.
Yeah, exactly. If you're 20 episodes into this, like you already know. You know how it goes.
Okay, so Badly Needed and Long Overdue is a podcast about shaking things up in a conservative city. This show is hosted by Nick Raven and Emily Lewis. You can watch the video version of this show on YouTube and listen to us in podcast form on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Our theme music is by the Knock Blockers. I have news about the Knock Blockers. The Knock Blockers will actually be doing a live show at Fritzy's this coming Friday, which will be
So listen before you go.
Yeah. What is the date on Friday?
Don't go.
Anyway, whatever the date is, Friday.
It's the 18th.
Okay, the 18th.
The 18th.
They will be doing a show at Fritzy's, which is downtown, connected to the Triple Nickel, in their new location. And definitely go see them. They're so much fun. So you can also watch us or reach us, not watch us. You can only watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
Or, just sit in the corner while we do this.
Yeah, unless that's a little weird.
Well,
I just realized that you have an open bag of Cheetos behind you, and
I do.
And you can't see that right now because the credits are up. So whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. So you can find us on all the different social media platform things: Instagram, Badly Needed Podcast; Twitter, which is so crazy right now, at Badly Needed COS. On Facebook at Badly Needed and Long Overdue Podcast, and on the TikToks at BNLO Podcast. And I don't know if you guys saw, I did a podcast, or I did a TikTok about voting, and it was awesome. I had so much fun doing it. I'm going to do them all now.
There you go. Well, thank you, Emily, for this. And if you somehow miss me for some reason, I'm producing podcasts professionally under the Independent. So Hot Takes and Stirring Breaks and the Indie 15. You won't hear me that often, but csindie.com/podcasts, because that's the ones I get paid to do. It's pretty
And for
great.
me, just look for me on the Tiki Talks.
Yeah,
or
Tiki
the
Talks,
Facebook
social
page.
medias.
Yeah, I'm always around. You can always message us directly if you happen to be one of the lucky ones that have our numbers, or leave us a comment somewhere.
Yeah,
talk to us.
We read everything you post, and
we absolutely do.
And all the weird emails we get too.
I know, they're so much fun.
We are Badly Needed and Long Overdue, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. I miss you. Bye.
Whoosh.
Bye. 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 Bye.